Okay, wait, I have to talk to get me on screen first here. Just a little bit of adjusting, because I just did take a class myself right before this one. Actually, I went to 10 to 11, so I had all black clothes on, and then I had to go switch to white. uh, which works. Okay, good discussion. When you come to your seat, it's a nice habit to think of the in-breath and the out-breath and relaxing and closing your eyes and connecting with it. So it's not just, it's on different levels. It's on the mental level, it's on the physical level, um, spiritual level, and maybe emotions do arise. So it could be all four levels. So the spiritual level could be that this is sadhana is the word for the practice that we do every day. So this is an asana practice. Meditation is the meditation, and all of it together, everything that we do and practice is our sadhana. And then we take it out into the world and we try to become better people. So when we make that initial connection with, breath, and we're connecting all of those different levels of our body, the mental and the emotional, we're making that connection to the breath. And then when we soften the breath down and we understand that the inhale is giving us that life force, we're accepting it from the universe. And then we're bringing it back out again with our exhale. It's that idea of that life-giving force that we're making the connection with. So it goes way past that physical feeling of the breath in the nostrils. And that's important too. But the levels that we make with those connections can be far more important. And if you go back to being a baby, being a 5-month or a 6-month-old or any, age baby, they have that connection. It's all there automatically. So we're born with it. So we don't have to think about when we were at that age, their diaphragmatic breathing, no one had to tell that baby to do that. We did it automatically. So what happens is life happens and stress happens, and that goes away, and we start breathing up higher and higher and higher. And then all of a sudden we have shoulder and neck and head, issues, and we don't know where it's coming from. And a lot of it just stems from improper breathing. So if there's any kind of a takeaway from a class, it would be that one. So take your sense of breath connection, and now just begin a gentle movement of rolling your neck. And what does that do to the relationship with the breath? So it's not a test, it's just an awareness. Just think about that. And then when we start making larger movements, then what's the relationship between breath and that? How much does it change? And then this is the beginning of stress being incorporated into the body. That's how it all starts. All right, we're going to take a real simple, easy class today. So keep moving the neck. And just go very gently, and you can slow it down. So there's no rush. Now think of someone that you love or care for, and they have their hands on your head, and they're moving your head, and you aren't. What does that feel like? So let them very lovingly move the head. And they're doing that because you asked them to, and you trust them, and they want to help, and they want you to be at your best sense of wellness. And this is what you've chosen to do. Just this simple little movement. And they're doing it for you. So because they're doing it for you, now you can relax all the neck muscles, all the shoulder muscles, all the chest muscles, down into your arms. And you can just let that person move your head. Very lovingly, very comfortable way. And you can tell them how far to go and how far not to go. So if there's somewhere where there's a ping or a pang, just gently say back off a little, or maybe go the other way. Or if it feels really good today, maybe go a little deeper up closer to the spine. And just enjoy the sense of health and wellness within just that movement of the neck. And then ask them to bring your chin to your chest. Okay, their hands are still on your head. Just very gentle pressure. And now still thinking of your loved one's hands on your head. Ask them to lift your head up to neutral. Notice the difference. So easy, no stress. Now, keeping their hands on your head, ask them to bring your chin up toward the ceiling and wall. And now have them press chin to chest. Just keep that imaginary person in your mental view. And then have them bring your head back to neutral. And then ask them gently, turn my head to the right. And notice how that feels. And then turn it to the left, please. So there's no effort, there's hardly any muscle tension in these simple, easy movements. You're not the doer, your friend is. So bring your head back to center, your friend will. And then ask them to bring the chin to the armpit, to the right armpit if you want. And then those same hands are going to lift chin up and look behind you. So effortlessly. And then bring it to center. And then ask to point the chin to the left armpit, or the other one, either one. And then lifting the head and look behind. So you're not doing any of this. All being done for you, almost like a massage. Have your friend center your head. And then very, very gently those hands on the head are going to turtle the head forward and back very gently. And they don't want to hurt you. So they're being very cautious because they know they're working with your neck. So the movement is mindful, gentle, and not very big, rather tiny. So there's no stress in pressing forward or pushing back. Super easy. And they're just doing this for you because they want to. And then ask them just to do it one more time forward and back and make it very tiny. And then bring your head, have them bring your head right to the center wherever you feel that it is absolutely centered and relaxed and still. So maybe you can have them move your head just in a tiny circle, almost invisible. Maybe more of a mental circle. You can kind of move your head like you're moving it around the top of your spine. Try that. Moving the head, the person, your friend is moving your head. And if someone walked in the room, they wouldn't even see your head moving. You're just mentally doing it. And then go to rest right in the center. Take note on how you feel. Just go into a deep sense of rest. We're going to play with this imagery today as we keep the motions and the postures and the movements rather tiny and subtle, and maybe go through it as if someone is moving you. We're going to try that today. So the friend that's standing behind you, have them run their hands along your arms down to your elbows. And then they're going to lift your arms up and bring your hands into prayer position. And they're going to support those elbows. So there's no effort. So you feel very buoyant. Rest your elbows into the weight of their hands and let them hold you here. So that allows your shoulders to relax, your elbows to open, everything to be soft and clear. Now ask them to bring your right elbow down to your left knee. So think of them twisting, pulling your left hip back, your right hip forward, and the elbow touches the knee very gently. Then have them lift that left elbow up to the ceiling. And once it's there, maybe they can change their hands and put them on your head and turn your head up very gently. What does that feel like? Very gently. Now your friend's hands are back on your elbows. And we're going to switch to the other side. So have them lift, center yourself, and very smoothly go to the other side. And they're being very, very gentle because this is the first time that they've done it. So the elbow, right elbow comes up, left elbow just rests. And then gently turn your head to look up. So there's no effort in the neck. And if there is, it'll release with time. Now your friend's hands are back on your elbows or your shoulder blades. You're going to come back to center. Just easy, smooth. Just that simple movement come to awareness of what that felt like about giving away the effort of you moving your body. How relaxed and easy and centered and aware that you can feel. And then resting your hands on your lap, let your partner or your loved one still stand behind you. And that person is going to put their right hand up at the base of your neck or maybe in between your shoulder blades. And then their other hand is going to go at their tailbone, at your tailbone. So ask them to press down on the top of your neck. So you're going to bend down and then curve the tailbone under. So both hands are pressing and cupping the spine. And then they gently release that pressure as you come back to seated. Very simple, very soft. Okay, ask them to try it again. Press the hands on the upper neck or upper shoulders, the tailbone. They're pressing and they're moving your spine into that C shape. And then when they release, just straighten it up. And then ask them to do it one more time. So those hands are pressing, moving very gently, very mindful of what is physically happening. And then the release of the hands is your signal to come to seated. And then to go into deep sense of relaxation in that spine. Just rest here. All right, now you're going to ask your friend to place their right hand on your right shoulder, so they're still standing behind you. And ask them to roll that right shoulder back, and then their left hand is going to be on your left hip. So you're going to press the left hip forward and roll the right shoulder back. And then when they release the pressure, bring it forward. So keep doing that. Pull the right shoulder back. They're going to just gently pull it back, press the left hip forward. And then just feel that sense of just a gentle twist. But not really a twist, just more of a movement. Right shoulder back, left hip forward. But you're not doing it. Those imaginary friendly hands are doing that for you. We're going to do that several times. And notice the ease, the flexibility, the openness, if you will, if that's what you're sensing. And now let the hands bring you back to center and just rest just for a breath. And ask your friend's hands to switch the opposite. So pull that right shoulder back, press the left hip forward. And then release it and continue that gentle little movement. And see if you find an extra sense of spaciousness in those two places. And since you're not doing it, you can just relax into this and feel it, sense it, and enjoy it. So the left shoulder goes back, the right hip comes forward, and just let your head do whatever comes natural. Maybe it goes along with the shoulder, maybe it stays forward. It really doesn't matter. Just follow the direction of what your body is telling you to do. All right, rest in that nice center position. All right, now ask your friend to do both right shoulder back, left hip forward, and then switch to the other side. Right shoulder forward, left hip back. And then now alternate just from side to side. Very simple. And notice how fluid it can feel. And try to smooth it out with the breath. And the breath might just come natural. Side to side. Sometimes when I do this, I think of a piece of warm taffy. And the taffy, when it's being made, is just being twisted. And it's very pliable and warm. So think of your body twisting around the spine, straight spine, and just gently go forward and back. So if the mind resists this, just understand that that's what it does. Come back to center and then just relax into that settled, sinking feeling. Relax the shoulder. In fact, dangle them and let them get a little bit longer. Now, once the arms are long, lengthen the spine the same way. So the crown is pulling up, lengthening the spine. And we're going to fold forward toward the thighs. And then this again is your friend has got one hand on the upper back, one on the lower back, pressing you forward and then releasing as you come back to seated. So in a very loving way, fold forward. Feel the hands on your back. And then gently keep going. And it doesn't have to be very deep. These can be tiny movements. Keep the shoulders relaxed and your arms long. So as my teacher has said many times over the years that I've taken classes from him, he always says, easy in the saddle, just be easy in your saddle. I think that's from the Western cowboy movie days. Easy in your saddle. So just be easy in your chair, easy in this. And let those imaginary hands just press and release. All right, let's just try one more. All right, we're going to rest here, let your shoulders dangle and get nice and long. Point your fingers to the floor. And then your friend's hands are off your body, but we're going to stand up on our own. So gently come to standing. And you might want to take your chair out of the way just for now. And then come to seated on the floor. So we're going to come in cross-legged. So keep that same mindfulness of movement. All right, your friend is still behind you, seated behind you. And you'll put your right hand on the floor and you're going to ask your partner to place their left hand on your left shoulder. And they're going to tip you toward the right and then back to center. So now it's that allowing that friend or loved one to do this for you that you might be resisting. And it's that resistance, if it's there, that we can kind of play with. You know, why? Why are you? And where does this crop up another time? But for now, let's just enjoy it. It's okay. We don't have to get too deep with this. We're just allowing that hand to press and release. Very easy. You know, maybe think of yourself in a hammock or a rocking chair or something very easy where you feel rocked side to side and you're supported and you're taken care of. And then ask that person to switch hands, put your left hand on the floor, and then tip to the left. And just let them move that shoulder as you press into the left hand. And you might find that your mind has become very relaxed. It might not be drifting off. Just pay attention to the movement. Pay attention to your friend too. So make that connection, whoever that is. And there's a love connection there too. So find that connection from heart to heart and just enjoy them helping you. And maybe you have helped them in the past and now it's your turn. But that's always a beautiful thought. And just keep rocking side to side. And both of you are enjoying the experience so much that you're actually kind of forgetting that you're just doing this simple repetitive motion. And then if you would ask your partner to switch sides and then do alternate sides. So now you're just swinging gently in that hammock or chair, and they're swinging with you. But at the same time, you are enjoying an opening of the hip and maybe the ribs. And because you're not doing it yourself, you can just allow it to happen and be free and open and warm and loving. And maybe the breath matches perfectly with the movement, or maybe you just totally forgot about it and you're just really enjoying the sense of you and friend. And that's okay. Either is okay. And if you have the thought that you want to go deeper into this, maybe you need a little bit more, ask them to do that. And if you want less, do less. Okay, now once you're balanced, let your friend bring you right to center. Close your eyes just momentarily. Your friend is still there. And now you're mentally imagine that you are tipping slightly to the right, slightly to the left. But the body is not moving. We're doing this mentally. So mentally, your right hand's on the floor, you tip to the right, come back up. Left hand's on the floor, you tip to the left and come back up. So just let the mind move the body. Let your friends stay there and watch. So they're keeping you safe, and you're mentally moving the body just with the mind. Very interesting concept. Is it hard to do or is it easy to do? Can you see yourself tipping? Can you sense yourself moving? Can you find an opening or a stretch even with the mental exercise? Is that possible? Can you relax fully into it? All right. Pause in your mental center and just rest there. So sometimes that mental work, as we all know, is hard. Whether you can do it or not, it still is hard. It can be. So you want to rest the mind also. Just rest into that stillness. And then have your friend come and sit in front of you. They're going to take your leg that's in the front and stretch it out into a V, and then the other one into a V. So they're moving your legs very gently open. And they put your hands on your arms and they bring them toward your feet. So their hands are now resting on your hands that are on your feet. So very loving way. It's very supportive. And they're still sitting in front of you. And you can either gaze at them or keep your eyes closed. And just take a moment to breathe. Now, if you would ask your partner to move your right foot into your inner thigh, we're going to keep the left hand on that left foot. And then that person's going to move your right hand to your right knee. And roll the shoulder back. We're going to do this very tiny. The right shoulder. So your partner's going to press your shoulder back. And then just allow it to come back to center. Press the right shoulder back. So this is the shoulder that's closest to the ceiling. And you can feel the hand on your shoulder just pressing back and centering. Back and centering. Just let your head do whatever comes natural. Now your friend's hand is going to cup that right shoulder and draw it forward. Kind of like cupping the shoulder toward the chest and then back to center. So we're going to cup it forward, kind of round the back, right by the shoulder blades, and then release it, come to center. And just keep bringing it forward, with the gentle touch of your friend's hand. And now ask your friend to do both directions. Press the shoulder back and then cup it forward and then back again and forward. We're going to do that several times. Just ask them to just continue that because it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, then back off a little bit. Just cupping the shoulder forward, rolling it back. And now make those movements even smaller. So you almost can't see the shoulder moving. So we're going to go to the mental, and the shoulder will come forward and back very, very tiny. Very tiny. And then now keep your shoulder still and mentally move it forward and back. And see if that's hard or easy. Just with the mind, shoulder cups forward and presses back. All right, rest, come back to center, extend your leg out. So your partner is still sitting in front of you. And you both are resting, kind of in the glow of your friendship or your love, whatever it is. And then we go to the other side. So that person presses the left heel in, and then your right hand goes right to the right foot. And then your friend's hand is on now the left shoulder that's closest to the ceiling. And start pressing that shoulder back and back to center again. Same thing, just easy. And you can make that movement as big or as small as you require. So there's no prize for moving it more. You want to move it according to your body's needs. And your friend is gently guiding you in and out of that little tiny movement and enjoying it as much as you are. There's no stress there between the two. Now ask your friend to cup it forward and back to the center. Just cup it forward and center it again. You're kind of rolling it. Maybe your chest feels like it's sinking in a bit, and that's okay. Whatever sensation comes up is okay. Just keep that shoulder in a gentle rolling motion forward. And then get a little frisky and go back and forward. So the shoulder gets pressed back and it gets rolled forward. And you just kind of slide right through that center position. So it's just an easy motion between the two of you. And you're just enjoying, enjoying. Now we're going to slow it down a bit. So make the motion tinier, forward and back. And now bring it back to that center position and mentally move it back and forward. Maybe you've got a little muscle memory there in your mind and you can feel it move in both directions. Or maybe you find it hard to do that. That's okay. Give it a try. Just see that shoulder moving. All right. And that's enough. So you want to come to rest, come to whatever pose is comfortable for you, sit up tall and rest the mind, rest the body. Ask your partner to just step aside for a moment while you lay onto your back. And then once you're there, your partner is going to be now on your left side. And one hand is going to be on your left shoulder, and the other, his other or her other hand is going to be on your left hip. So ask that person to roll you over, hips first, shoulder second, roll to your side, and then roll back. Roll forward onto your side and roll back. So now you're again not doing it. You can bend your knees or keep it straight. What probably bent is better. So feet on the floor, bent knees, and then keep your feet wide. Bring your arm over your body and let your partner press you forward and release you back out. So hips come forward, arm and shoulder come second, and back again. So roll the hips, let the arm follow. Roll the hips back, let the arm follow. And just imagine your partner doing this all for you. So it's very little effort and it's just all enjoyment. And maybe let's try one more time because it feels so good and effortless. And then when you come back to center, just rest here for a moment. You can straighten your legs if you want. Take a couple deep, nice breaths. And then bend your knees again, keep your feet wide. Your partner's got to move over to your other side on your right. And then one hand on your hip and one hand on the shoulder. And he's going to gently press the hips and then the shoulder and move onto your side. And then back again. And maybe just keep that motion going. because it feels so lovely. And it's just without thought, without stress. It's without any desire. You have nowhere to go. It's just a simple doing between the two of you. And maybe your breath matches that motion. Probably the exhale would be forward to give you a full sense of release, and then open when the knees are up and your arm is open. And then exhale again as you roll to your side. That could work very nicely. And then deepen the inhale and deepen the exhale. And then since you're enjoying this so much, we're going to go from side to side. So rolling onto your right side as your exhale, and then inhale, and then roll to your left. And just taking your time with it. And always having that feeling of you're not doing it. Like your friend is doing it. Your loved one. And you really have nowhere to go, nothing to do. And it's almost like being in that hammock again. Rocking forward or side to side. Keeping the muscles just very soft. Very fluid. Maybe like a butterfly in a soft breeze. Just kind of floating on that little jet stream. Keeping the shoulder muscles soft as you roll on them. And then same thing with the hips. And soften the hips and roll on them very easily. And then find yourself back in your center on your back and go into that full rest. So rest the mind, rest the body, bring some space between your shoulder blades and your hip joints. And before we go into a full rest, mentally watch yourself doing the same motion you just did, rolling to the right and rolling to the left. So we'll keep the mind active and the body inactive. And your friend is there all along, pressing you into that side curled motion and allowing you to go onto your back and then pressing you the other way and then onto your back. And just keep going side to side, just mentally. Keep the body perfectly still if you can. And keep watching mentally the movement of your body. See what it looks like being moved. What does that mean to you? Now, that might be getting to be too much, so mentally rest yourself on your back in your center. Now let your mind go still and the body. You want to imagine that your arms are a little longer, your legs are a little longer, your spine is a little longer. Your breath is a little longer. Everything is at rest. Now you're still noticing your friend is with you, sitting patiently on your right side. Ask your friend to gently roll you onto your left. Roll left, support your head. And with the hands still on your body, rest on your side for several breaths. Noticing the connection of the hands to your body and your body to those hands. And what does it mean to you? Now your partner knows that this is the hard part, helping you up to seated. So just allow them to help you in any way possible. Maybe it's a little help under the arms. Maybe it's just a gentle touch of the shoulders. And both of you rest there with hands on your shoulders. Either in front of you or in back, wherever you wish them to be. And then in deep reverence for their help, bring your hands to your heart center and bow to them, thank them for their help. And then give them a big namaste welcome. And open your eyes.